I'm back. So are you. We're back for more math. All right. So if you haven't noticed already, this next topic is like almost review. There's almost like nothing new here. There's a couple little wrinkles, but this should be like an easy topic. Like, oh, thank you, Mr. Filey. You finally gave me an easy one. I didn't, I've been doing like, but now this next topic, number 9, should be a little bit of a rest for you before we go into topic 10. All right, but 9, not too bad. So let's take a look at it and see how we do. All right. So number 9. So I want to start out with problem number 10, which says negative 72 over negative 4. All right? So your calculator will do this for you if you have one that has a negative button. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put 72 in your calculator. Actually clear it first, right? Put 72 in. Then hit that negative button. You got to make sure it says negative 72. This line right here, nothing new, guys. That line means divide. I know it looks like a fraction bar, kind of because it is, but it means divide. So hit divide, your gray button, your gray buttons on the side, divide. And then put 4 in there. And don't leave off the negative. It's negative 4. Hit equals. And you get positive 18. Okay? Not a lot new here. Not a lot new here. All right? So, the thing that is a little bit new, I want to make sure we go over a couple of them. So, I'm on number 33. That's the problem I'm going to do next. So, this is the new little wrinkle. All right, again, this is one of those things where take a note on it. Take a note on it. Number 33, 8 times 6. No, 8 times negative 6 times, my bad, times negative 3. All right, I made my times in red, and again, I think I owe you an apology. So we're kind of going back here. There's no algebra on this page. All this page is knowing how to deal with positive and negative numbers. So these x's do not, these are multiplication signs today. That's why I'm apologizing. They're not x's, they're multiplication signs. This is 8 times a negative 6 times a negative 3. So if that's confusing, I apologize. All right? But here they are. Here they are. So what we're going to do here, this is the new wrinkle, is we're going to count up the negative signs. 1, 2. There's 2 negative signs in this problem. 2 is an even number. 2 is an even number. So write this down. If we have an even number of negatives, like 2, 4, 6, or 8, those are all even numbers. If we have an even number of negatives, then our answer is going to be a positive answer. Here we have 2 negatives. I don't know what the number is. I'll tell you right now, it's going to be positive. If we had an odd number of negatives, if we counted up the negatives in the problem and we had an odd number of them, 1 negative, 3 negatives, 5 negatives, then that answer would be positive. This is only when we multiply or divide, not addition, not subtraction. So an odd number of negatives gives us a negative answer, and we'll do one of each so you can see the difference. But here I am, I'm multiplying with the negative numbers and positive numbers. 8 times negative 6 times negative 3. That's all I'm doing is multiplication. There's 2 negatives, so I don't know what my answer is. Right now, I'll tell you it's positive. How do you know that? Even number of negatives, 2 is an even number. 8 times 6 is 48, and 48 times 3 is 144. Answer, positive 144. Okay? If you don't want to do it that way, you could actually go on your calculator and go 8 times, use the gray bars, 8 times 6, and go find that negative button. Make sure it says negative 6 times 3, also negative, equals. And it'll come up with a positive 144. All right? Either way is fine. If you have the calculator, it's simpler. If you don't, you got to remember that rule. An even number of negatives in the problem makes it a positive answer. 2, 4, 6, 8, those are all even numbers. An odd number of negative, we don't count the positives, we only count the negatives. An odd number of negatives would make it a negative answer. An odd number of negative signs in the problem make it a negative answer. All right, let's try another one of those just so we can see the difference. So if you look at number 34, we have a good idea of what we're talking about here. So on number 34, it says negative 3 times 6 times negative 6. All right. All right, so that's number 34. So again, I made these multiplication signs in green just so you could see. These are not the variable x. They're multiplication signs. This says negative 3 times 6 times negative 6. That's what it says. How many negative signs do I have here? 1, 2. 2, right? 2 is an even number. An even number of negatives gives me a positive answer. So I don't know the number here. I don't know the number here yet, but I know it's positive. Now, just multiply 3. Once you know the answer is positive, just multiply the numbers. 3 times 6 is 18, and 18 times 6. Did you catch that? Once you know the answer is whatever sign it is, positive or negative, then you could just put the numbers in your calculator and go like this. Go 3 times 6 equals 108. Positive 108 is my answer. If you'd rather, put 3 in there, hit the negative, times 6 times another 6, but the second 6 is negative, equals positive 108. Right? Either way. Do we want to count up the negatives if we don't have a calculator? Or do we want to put the negatives in the calculator and go with that route? All right? So, some people don't like, putting a number in and then a negative sign in a calculator. So by counting up the negatives, you get to skip that. When I counted these negatives and found there was 2 of them in my problem, so that I realized my answer is going to be positive, then when I go to put the numbers in, I just put them in. 3 times 6 times 6. Because I've already figured out the sign. I just don't know what 3 times 6 times 6 is. But I already know it's whatever sign it was. Let's pretend, just for kicks and giggles, that this was a negative 6 as well. Now there's how many negative signs in my problem? 1, 2, 3. Well, now it's an odd number. 3 is odd. So now my answer is not positive 108. It's negative 108. All right? Why? Because now I changed the problem and I put another negative in there. Now we've got 3 negatives, and 3 is odd, and odd makes a negative answer. All right, so let's let you try. You try number 36. Number 36, you get to do, and hopefully this topic was kind of a nice little rest for you after all the algebra you've been learning. So, hopefully this topic was not too bad. So this is negative 3 Okay. So that's one you can start by counting up all the negatives, find out what your sign is going to be for your answer, or you can put the negatives in the calculator as you go. Either way, fine with me. Go for it. All right. See you back in just a second. Pause. Okay, we are back. How many negatives? 1, 2, 3. There's no sign between the parentheses. That's confirmation. This is multiplication. This is -3 times +3 times -3 times -3. There's no space between the parentheses. Multiplication. All right, count the negatives. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 negatives in this problem. 3 is an odd number. I don't know what my answer is right now, but I'll tell you right now. I can tell you right now, odd number of negatives, this answer is going to be negative. Now I'm going to find out the number. 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. And 27 times 3, I happen to know that number, is 81. And it's negative. We already knew it was negative before we even multiplied the 3's out. Otherwise, you could put 3, hit the negative button in your calculator, hit times, 3 times 3, hit the negative button, times 3, hit the negative button, equals. And you'll get -81. All right? But the quick way to do that is just to count up all the negatives. Then you just go, then all you do is just go, what's 3 times 3 times 3 times 3? Because you've already figured out if the answer is going to be positive or negative. All right? Good job. All right, pat yourself on the back. You're doing awesome. Keep going. Don't lose steam.